My name is Mark Balawender. I'm a PhD student in philosophy here at Michigan State. I'm originally from Northwest Indiana. I did my undergraduate education at Wabash College in Indiana. I studied originally physics. I kept that the whole way through, but picked up philosophy about halfway through and really enjoyed that. After I graduated, I taught high school for a little while, and then came to Michigan State. When my wife came to medical school here, we were looking for a university that we could both attend, and Michigan State's philosophy department met my needs. There's a professor there, Dick Peterson, that I work with on critical theory and social and political philosophy. This year, starting in the fall of 2011, I was an RCAH Fellow, still am a RCAH Fellow. I'm working on a project with the Dean of the RCAH, Steve Esquith, called Big Ideas for Little Kids. It's a project to develop a class in the civic engagement curriculum here at the RCAH that lets undergrads go into local middle schools and run a philosophy discussion, do philosophical discussion with grade school age kids. So this year I'm helping him develop some of the curriculum for that, doing some of the lesson planning. We're doing an approach that uses children's literature picture books that have philosophical issues in them. So we're picking out some of the books that we're using. And for the last 6 weeks or so, we've been piloting the program in one of the local middle schools, and that's been going really well. We've been meeting since the beginning of the year, about once or twice a month. And the fellowship program here in the RCAH really focuses on the scholarship of teaching and learning. And so this is literature that deals with all sorts of aspects of teaching that folks debate. So, teaching philosophies, grading philosophies, ideas of student motivation. So we've been meeting every month and doing some of the readings and sharing some of the readings from that literature. And it's been really beneficial in terms of sharing each other's teaching experiences. We've got students from all sorts of different disciplines in the humanities, and so we get to talk to them about their different approaches, what they've had success with, what they like to do, and so it's been a really productive year in terms of reflecting on my own techniques of pedagogy and teaching. That's the larger part of the RCAH program that we're doing aside from our own individual projects. I came to MSU with an interest in critical social theory and philosophy and social and political philosophy generally. So I was into folks like Marx and Habermas and Foucault. And so my advisor, Dick Peterson, is the main philosopher here at MSU that deals with folks like that. Big into Marx, big into critical theory, German philosophers, Hegel. So I initially met up with him just to talk about that general interest, and then my freshman year here I took a course called Introduction to Peace and Justice Studies, and this is an undergraduate specialization that Dick Peterson is one of the founding members of, and it's an interdisciplinary area of study that focuses on issues of war and peace and the problems of violence and how those problems can be solved. And so Dick takes the philosophical perspective on that. But that course really interested me, and so my dissertation topic has come to be in that area of peace and justice studies. I'm working on the issue of nonviolence, nonviolent movements, and nonviolent power, and I'm sort of problematizing it and asking whether nonviolent power, such as the movements in Egypt, for instance, or Occupy Wall Street, or the movements in Eastern Europe that helped bring down the Soviet bloc, whether those movements, because they are so powerful and have such an important sort of role in political change, whether they're problematic in any way as being coercive, or whether there's an argument to be made for their, democratic orientations. So that's the sort of big question that I'm interested in. I'm looking at strategic and effective forms of nonviolence and asking whether there is any kind of normative political orientation, or whether they're completely sort of instrumental methods of power. How are they different from violent political movements? why should we promote nonviolent political movements? There seems to be a strong inclination to do so, but there hasn't really been an argument for that from a political philosophical perspective. So that's what my dissertation's on, and so it's in the area of peace and justice studies. And I study Foucault and critical theory and Marx, and work in a lot of that history of social and political philosophy, recent history of social and political philosophy. My future plans are to finish my dissertation and then go on the market and look for a position. I'm probably going to be looking at more teaching-oriented positions, smaller colleges, probably not a Michigan State kind of place exactly, but more liberal arts types of colleges. So we're pretty much open to anywhere. We really have no set plans. I guess that's determined by the fortunes of the future.